What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Today I've got a story time that was sent in to me about this dude who encountered a Karen that was so bad his manager ended up quitting over it. Regardless, I just thought it would be a fantastic story time to share with y'all. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so the person who sent this into me, I guess, worked at a frozen yogurt shop. I've never worked at one of those, but I could guess that working with the public in any capacity recently has not been insanely fun. And for the most part, working there was pretty chill. It wasn't like Karens were roaming in to get frozen yogurt on a daily basis. You know, they tend to hate fun things, and froyo's on that list. That being said, him and his manager would just kind of goof off, help customers whenever they came in, and it was a pretty cool job. His manager that he worked with most often was like this older 7-year-old dude named Jacob, who was pretty chill, you know, just kind of like managed the froyo store, went home, played video games, did his thing, minded his own business. And he was kind of notorious at the froyo store for being extremely hard to piss off. Like, guy just kind of had a very, very long fuse. You know, you had to really go out of your way to do something wrong on purpose to get him to even like give you a stern talking to, let alone freak out on. But one day, it was a Sunday, and they were just kind of at the froyo shop doing their thing, and him and Jacob were goofing off behind the counter, and they see this car pull up, and out pops this like mom and dad, you know, and they walk into the store, and right away they can tell that it's not going to be a very fun interaction with these customers, because the dad instantly goes, "All right, bozos, off your phone, it's time to actually work for a living," and like not in a very joking way, but like snapping at them. And even when they had pulled up, they had like slammed on the brakes, got up, slammed their car doors, walked in all angrily, you know when you can just tell that somebody's not having a good day and they're about to take it out on you. And obviously Jacob and the person who sent this to me aren't trying to piss off the customers, so they're just kind of like, "All right, sure, what can we get for you?" And before they can even finish the "what can we get for you," the mom holds up a finger and goes, "All right, be quiet." And they're like, okay, it's gonna be like that. And she just starts rattling off all these different froyo orders. Large banana with like insanely fast, to the point where they can't even put it on the register or write it down. So whatever, she goes on for like 45 seconds saying a bunch of frozen yogurt, and it's at this point like 25 cups of this stuff. Keep in mind, most of the time it's a self-serve yogurt place. It's not like they're the ones usually making it. So she kind of rattles it off and then looks at them, and they're kind of standing there confused. And she's like, "Well, let's go, get on it." And they're like, this is self-serve yogurt. And they're like, "No, we don't like that." You know, basically the only thing the workers were there to do was like help, you know, take the measurement of the yogurt, maybe put on some toppings that like weren't out for the public to deal with themselves, and then help people check out. It's not like every day they were really out here making 75 cups of frozen yogurt when somebody requested it, but this lady's like, "Well, guess what? Today you need to make this yogurt, otherwise you're not getting this sale." And they're like, "All right, well then can you like repeat it a little bit slower as we make each one?" And the mom is kind of like, "Ugh, can you believe how dumb workers are?" Talking to her husband, but she's saying this right in front of the workers, so you know, just not the nicest thing in the world. And the dad's not being any nicer either, because his response is like, "Oh my god, yeah, no wonder these losers are working at a frozen yogurt store." And listen, dude, like, I don't know if maybe somebody had pissed in their cornflakes this morning, they had a bad breakfast or whatever, but why you gotta be going in on the guy making frozen yogurt? How are you angry while getting froyo? You know, like, you just say froyo angrily. Froyo! Like, you can't even, I don't understand how you stay mad while getting frozen yogurt. Regardless, Jacob and the subscriber are just keeping their mouths shut, you know, they're trying not to argue or fight back, and he looks over at Jacob and he sees that he's like kind of turning red a little bit, which is weird because, as I said, this dude's usually super chill. Obviously, I think anyone in this situation would be getting heated if somebody's like, "You're an idiot, you're a loser for working here," they're talking crap about you, acting like you don't exist. So whatever, he kind of starts like going out and making the yogurt, and they're just trying to get them out of there. But of course, you know, the lady and the husband are like standing over their shoulders watching everything they do. And anytime, you know, they don't like the pattern of the yogurt or anything, they're like, "Oh, nope, you messed up. Got to take a different one. Nope, I'm not paying for that." And obviously, Jacob and this other worker are getting annoyed because it's like, we're not going to throw away this yogurt. It's self-serve. If you don't like how I'm serving your yogurt, then brilliant. You do it. That's the entire point of this place. So whatever, they're like just trying to get this done. And each time, you know, they keep keep messing up. They keep making them throw away this yogurt. And finally, after like the fourth cup that they had quote unquote done wrong, and the dad was kind of like, you need to throw that away, Jacob said, no, you guys are taking this one. I'm not throwing it away. And the response to that from the dad was to grab the yogurt out of Jacob's hand, but Jacob like didn't let go of the yogurt. So the dad pulls harder and Jacob lets go, and the froyo just goes all over the dad. And obviously it's pretty funny. So the person who sent this to me laughs a little bit, and the mom at that point is like, oh my gosh, you're attacking my husband. What's wrong with you? And Jacob's like, no, I'm not attacking your husband. He just tried to grab the froyo out of my hands, but I don't feel like we want to serve you guys anymore. And they just start freaking out about how, you know, he's allergic to dairy. He's allergic to dairy, which, listen, man, okay, like if you're lactose intolerant, you know, it happens. Obviously, people are out there like that. Why are you in a frozen yogurt store buying a bunch of frozen yogurt? And B, yeah, I don't understand how dairy allergies work, so I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure if you just like get ice cream on your shirt, you don't burst into flames and explode and start dying. Like, don't you have to ingest something you're allergic to? Maybe that's not how it works, but I don't understand how his allergic reaction is going to be caused by just getting it on his shirt. So whatever, they're just kind of freaking out, screaming, and at that point, Jacob's like, you guys need to go. We're not serving you anymore. And there isn't really much communication going on because Karen's yelling, Jacob's yelling, the husband's yelling, everyone's yelling, you know? It's like that scene in Anchorman where Brick walks in and he's like, I don't know what we're yelling about. Everyone's just screaming. But finally, I guess the Karen realized that nobody was really listening to what was going on because she picks up a couple of the cups that were like filled up already and just starts throwing them at the workers. And at that point, Jacob and the workers start like hiding behind the counter, right? And she's like, you guys are insane for not serving us. You just missed out on the biggest order that this store's ever seen. I'm gonna call your manager and let him know how disrespectful you are. This is ridiculous. And the husband's like, yeah, I've never been so insulted in my life. Keep in mind, they're the ones literally throwing ice cream at these poor like workers that were just trying to have a chill Sunday, you know. No, now they're out here playing dodgeball with frozen things. It's not Anna and Elsa out here, all right? Nobody's expecting to play like a Modern Warfare snowball while at work. Regardless, after ranting about how they've been so disrespected, they end up storming out, you know, without their froyo. And they get up and they're just like, what in the world was that? Obviously, the store's not in very good shape. There's froyo everywhere. Froyo had gotten dropped like minutes ago, so now it's all melting. And they kind of just are just in shock about what happened. So obviously, Jacob's pretty pissed off. He had been red. He had been arguing with her. He had never really seen him snap at a customer like that. But he's kind of calmed down now. He's like, look, let's just clean this up. You know, they're not going to come back. It's fine. If the boss and the owner have a problem with like what went down, I'll explain to them what happened and we'll be good, right? And like I said, Jacob was a very good manager. It's not like there was issues very often. He wasn't getting into fights with people often. He never got customer complaints. So he just figured that like the owner was going to take his side because obviously it would be out of character for this worker who's worked for like years there and never had a problem to just all of a sudden decide to attack people with ice cream. But sure enough, you know, they finish work that day. They clean up. They get everything together. The next day he comes in and Jacob is like not looking happy. And he's like, all right, so the owner's coming in today because I guess that Karen and her husband called him and said that we attacked them with yogurt, you know, and he called me and said that he was very disappointed in my behavior and that there's no reason that I should have done that. And the worker, you know, the person who sent this to me is like, well, that's ridiculous because they were throwing ice cream at you. Like they came in and caused all the problems. You didn't do anything. And he's like, yeah, I tried to tell him that, but the owner of the froyo store just like kept yelling at me and saying I was wrong, you know, and that my behavior was unacceptable. And he's coming today to talk about it. So I've decided that like if the owner gets here and isn't going to be a little bit on my side and realize that like I didn't do anything to make them throw froyo, then I quit. Like I'm just done, you know? So obviously he's like, all right, well when he gets here, if you guys need some time to like talk, let me know. So about an hour later, the owner comes in and he's like, all right, Jacob, you ready to have a talk? And Jacob's like, yeah, let's go. So they go to this like back office room thing and they start talking. And obviously the subscriber who sent this to me is being a little nosy. He's over by the door trying to eavesdrop a little bit because he just wants to know what's going on. And he hears the boss go like, wait, can you explain to me what happened? And he hears Jacob start to explain that they were there minding this business when this lady rolled up all mad and her and her husband came in and the husband started insulting them right away. And the next thing you know, they're expecting them to make the yogurt. So they were making the yogurt, but every time that they would put it in the cup, they said we were doing it wrong and they started like trying to rip it out of our hands and they were just being insanely rude. I've never seen someone act more ridiculous in my life. Like, honestly, it was embarrassing that a grown-up was acting that way. And he's saying all this thinking that it's gonna, make the boss be a little bit more on his side. But then there's just this insanely long silence, and the subscriber can't see what's going on. But the next thing he hears is the manager just screaming at Jacob. You thought she was the rudest person you've ever seen? You've never seen one act more embarrassing? Well, guess what? That was my sister. My sister came in to get froyo, and that's who you treated like that. I bet you didn't think that was a mistake, did you? And Jacob at this point, bro, I bet you, he was already mad enough at the lady. Here's his boss getting mad at him, so he starts screaming back at the owner. He's like, damn, bro, well then your family sucks. That's crazy. I'm not gonna excuse your sister's behavior. She should have respected you more when she came into your business. And the manager's like, how dare you tell me, like, how to tell my sister how to act or how she should treat me? That's none of your business. You're the one who works at a froyo store. And Jacob's like, yeah, you're the guy who owns the froyo store. I guess that makes you a little bit better than me, but if I'm the guy actually doing all the work for your business, then it makes you lame too. And the manager's like, well, guess what, Jacob? You like to have this attitude and think that you're so smart? Well, you're gonna call my sister and you're going to apologize. Which, listen, man, this boss is just insanely out of pocket, dude. Just because someone is your family doesn't mean that they're like always going to act appropriately, right? And even then, I'm gonna assume you have security cameras or something. You could probably go look at your sister throwing the froyo at them, What, were they supposed to just let it happen when, like, because she's related to you and they didn't know that? Obviously, though, the manager was just not in the mood to be getting fact-checked at all. And even then, let's say that you're, like, really pissed, whatever, you're gonna let your sister come into your business and throw froyo all over the place. That's your prerogative, man. I guess nobody can really stop you. But it's nuts that you're gonna, like, make this dude pull out his cell phone and then call your family and apologize for something that they did. Like, you want to handle this between you guys, that's fine, but you can't just make him apologize for no reason, I guess technically he probably could try to make him, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't have done this either. And Jacob is like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like, there's no way I'm gonna call and apologize because your sister was the one that was out of pocket. And the manager's like, are you kidding me? You're really gonna go to this? It's gonna come to this after how long you've worked here? You're really gonna let your job be put on the line because of this, because you're too proud to apologize? And Jacob is like, yeah, I'm gonna be too proud to apologize on this one because I did nothing wrong. If you're gonna say that to me, I'm gonna put all this on the line after how hard I've worked and how long I've worked here because I was mean to your sister, who deserved it, by the way. I could say the same thing to you. Like, you're gonna fire me over this after everything I've done for you? And the boss is like, well, what are you trying to say? Are you threatening to quit? He's like, no, I'm not threatening to quit. The fact that I'm here all the time doing all the work for this business and then you're gonna come in here and scream at me the one time I've ever had a problem with a customer, I'm done. I quit. I'm out. Good luck, man. Best of luck to you. And he hears Jacob start coming to the door, so the subscriber kind of like gets out of the way a little bit, and the door opens and Jacob storms out and he's like taking off his uniform thing and he's like, all right, I'm out. I quit. And at that point, it was almost like the manager had a change of heart, Originally, it was like he thought he was going to come in and start screaming at him, get the apology out of him, get him on the phone, and then everything was going to go to normal. But now that the guy was like actually willing to quit and walk out and just be like, good luck, bro. Seriously, best of luck to you. I'm not working for you no more. The manager was literally following Jacob out like, wait, Jacob, come on, let's talk about this. I mean, at this point, dude, I don't really feel like there's much to talk about. You insisted he apologized and then, just kind of said that he's a loser for working at the place that you own. Why would he want to work there? Like, you're not going to have his back, and then on top of it, you think that he's a loser because he works for you. Like, why would he want to keep working for somebody that has that much just like you suck in their veins for somebody that's working for them? If somebody comes at your customer or your employee, related or not, it's your job to like maybe say, hey, don't treat my workers like that. Anyways, Jacob's like, yeah, no, I'm done. And he's like, fine, you don't have to apologize. And he's like, okay, fine, then you apologize. And the manager is now in the hallway and they're standing in front of like the subscriber, right? And the boss goes, well, I can't say that. I can't apologize to you in front of him because then it's going to belittle my leadership, which is some of the worst leadership ever, bro. If apologizing is like something that you never do, if you never own up and admit you're wrong ever, then you're probably not very good at the leading thing because everybody is going to mess up, bro. Like, listen, is there anyone that's ever owned a business and never made a mistake? No, I think that's literally impossible to do, to always be perfect. But at the same time, dude, like sometimes you're going to mess mess up and you gotta tell the people that you're leading if you're a boss that, like, I messed up, okay? You know, so obviously at that point, Jacob's like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about, bro. This is why I hate working for you and I'm done. I quit. And the manager looks at the subscriber at that point and is like, can you believe that Jacob's doing this to us? And the subscriber was also getting pretty fed up at that point, but really the only reason he had stayed at this job as long as he did is because Jacob was a cool manager. So he looks at the boss too and he's like, yeah, I can. And you know what? I quit too. And Jacob smiled. He's like, yo, you don't have to quit for me. And he's like, yeah, I know. And he quits too on the spot. And they were the only two people that were going to be, like, you know, that day on shift. So the boss is like, well, if you guys are quitting and walking out today, then, like, what am I supposed to do? And they were both like, yo, man, I don't know, call your sister. That's not really our problem. Like, good luck, we quit. And the boss starts yelling about how, like, this is so unfair and he can't believe that they would just quit on the spot. And they were like, listen, man, like, what do you expect me to do, bro? You literally were gonna make me call and apologize to somebody that trashed your store and was screaming at us. Like, I'm just not gonna do that. Like, I don't want to work here anymore. It's nothing personal. I just literally have no desire to work for you ever again. And the boss is like, so you just expect me to be here all day by myself managing it? And they were like, yeah, you leave us alone all the time to deal with it, so it looks like you can finally figure it out. Which, all in all, listen, I'm not saying you should walk around quitting your job on the spot. If your boss has been good to you, you know, you just got a better job, it's probably the right thing to do to put in the 2-day notice. But I mean, if your boss is gonna just throw you out to dry like this, then by all means, dude. Oh well, you know, with the current job market, I feel like there's a huge worker shortage, so workers for once are actually a little bit more in control. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like Jacob, with the amount of experience he has, is probably gonna be okay getting another job. As for finding people that have the patience to deal with Karens and do nothing about it, I feel like those people are definitely falling into harder and harder supply. You know, it's like finding diamonds in Minecraft, and you know, you shouldn't really just let yourself get ice cream thrown at you. I feel like that's a perfectly reasonable time to be like, hey, this is out of control. Anyways, they both ended up leaving, you know, and Jacob was like, yo, that actually meant a lot that you quit with me, you know, and the subscriber's like, whatever, like, that job kind of sucked, and listening to the way he was screaming at you, it's like, what? He's just gonna promote me to manager, and then, like, I'm gonna have to deal with all that crap? No, thank you. So whatever, they ended up leaving, but to make matters worse, dude, a couple hours later, their boss calls them, and you think by now you would maybe have learned to, like, be a little bit nicer, you know, will you guys please come back, we can work it out, you know, like, I'll make sure that the Karens can't attack you no more. No, instead they both got, like, an angry voicemail that was screaming at them and was like, you're the reason that I had such a bad day, you know, and you guys suck and you're never allowed to work here again, you're fired. Which to me, I love, dude, just the fact that, like, he had to call, let them know that he had a bad day and then fire them even though they already quit. It's like, hey man, they kind of already did the leaving thing. I don't really know what firing them after that is going to do. Regardless, you know, I just thought this was a good story time I'd share with y'all. I know it's a little bit shorter than everything I've put out recently, but I'd still appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought, and of course, subscribe if you're new and turn on notifications. If you really want to help me out, I'm going to put a link to the intro song down below, along with a link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast, or, of course, you could use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout. It's actually 30% off for today and tomorrow, so be sure to do that. And the two other things that I've got to mention pretty quickly. First things first, I do put some of my content up on Spotify, so if you want to listen without gameplay or offline, I'll put that link in the top of the description. Feel free to go give it a listen. I would very much appreciate it. And we've got the coolest merch to ever exist in the history of the planet. This link's at the bottom of the description, but you should go check it out and get yourself some. I'd really, really appreciate that as well. And yeah, on that note, guys, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.